All right, so this is the Guys with Weirds podcast. I'm Sean.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm David.
And we're going to talk about the consoles in PC.
This video is sponsored by the Trains Music Studio and J&D Auto. We have a glorious
Make sure
setup.
you're clapping at home.
Yeah, make sure you're clapping. And we have a lot of new, cool things going on here.
Oh, yes.
A lot of cool things. We kicked Jacob off the screen.
He'll be back, dude. He always finds a way back.
Yeah, Leo
always
is back
does.
sometime. If we had an extra camera, we would show you him.
Yeah, he's doing
He's
sound.
hanging out
Yeah,
back
he's
there. He's
just-
giving us a mean
he's
look
just-
right now.
Yeah, he's just... You can say hi, Jacob. We'll let you do that. All right, that's it. That's all the budget we have for you.
But yeah, anyways, we're here to talk about a debate as old as time, PC versus console. There's a lot of facets to this, especially in 2021. That line has become extremely blurry, at least in a lot of aspects, in my opinion, recently. And I guess the first place to start, I guess I like to start with PC, personally. And because just the most things have been happening in the PC world, in my opinion, with whether it be, scalpers, graphics card prices, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, like Xbox Game Pass and stuff like that is coming to PC.
Speaking about PCs, though, I want to mention what makes this so interesting at this point in time that we're talking about it is that hardware-wise, it always used to be with PC. But
Yeah,
now,
absolutely,
right
it used
now,
to be.
consoles, for the price that you pay for them, you're getting some solid hardware that can
Yeah.
really compare with the PCs. So I think that's what makes this debate so interesting right now.
I would say so, and especially with the scalpers thing, console is much more of an enticing option, I would say, these days, because prices are so astronomical as far as graphics cards. It's mostly graphics cards for PCs for the most part. I mean, it's not like processors are being like ate up left and right. But I did hear that there should be sort of like a balancing out happening soon as far as like the end of graphics cards goes. That's just a rumor around the block, though. Whether or not that's true, I at least know that my local Micro Center doesn't have any of that shit yet.
Yeah, we there was a subreddit, I forgot what it was, Alex showed us, and it said that there was, RTX graphics cards for sale. And I looked on the website, and I can't find shit. All I see is like the
I'm willing to bet,
AMD.
because he said that was posted 10 hours ago when we read it. I'm willing to bet as soon as everybody saw that, because that's a Michigan subreddit.
Yeah.
People straight up went to that store and bought all that
But
shit.
even so, I checked days after, like thinking that there would be a resupply, and nothing. There's nothing.
I had an interesting story about the graphics cards. Like I think the most recent one was 3080 Ti. That was the one that just came out, right?
The big dog on the
So
block.
I DoorDash really late at night sometimes, and there was a 2 a.m. order. So this was a 2 a.m.
For
I
a
was driving around.
3080 Ti.
Choice.
Yeah, it's it's
Classic.
Nationals or Lafayette. Let's just put that out there.
if you don't live in Michigan though, I guess Coney Islands are kind of like not like a thing though.
Yeah, not nearly
Like
as much.
not,
I mean, we're
so
very
if you
Coney-centric
guys
here in
don't
Michigan.
know what
Except
they
for
are,
New York City.
yeah,
Yeah,
but they're
there's
just
Coney
like
Island.
they're just like late
Coney
night
Island.
restaurants that just have sloppy, greasy food. It's always
America.
good. Leo's is open
Goddamn
24/7. But I was picking up food, and then I went to a Micro Center at 2 a.m. and there was like a herd of people like outside, and like people with tents and like people with sleeping bags, and I delivered these guys at 2 a.m. and they were like, "Yeah, we're waiting for the 3080 Ti," and I was like, "Wow!" Like people are actually camped outside.
That's dedication. That is, I mean, that's the shit we used to do for like GameStop, like waiting for games.
And that's-
like, 2 in the morning,
Not at 2 a.m. Not
Yeah,
the
that's true.
entire
That's
night.
hardcore.
We've never done that.
That's one of the things that I kind of miss with like the PC and the console thing, is that with the console, I remember going to Halo 4's the midnight release.
Yeah,
it was a
good
lot
time.
of fun. And now for midnight release now in 2021, it's sitting at your computer,
Yeah.
chilling.
And okay, so the reason I think this is going to blow the case wide open. For years, the biggest thing everybody's been asking for is cross compatibility for games.
Oh, yeah.
You want Xbox to be playable with PC. PlayStation is like the hard end of that, where they don't like cooperating with like anybody. That's just how PlayStation's been
yeah.
PlayStation
for a long time. Sony hates putting out their shit there. As far as I know, like even with movies and shit, they still have lots of rights to like a ton of heroes and shit. But we've been asking for that for a long time, and I think that's a consequence of having cross compatibility. Is that the market's going to naturally go, hey, this is working, this is making us more money, so let's make it more integrated. Let's make PC more integrated with console. And you see something like Xbox Game Pass, which $5 a month, $1 for the first month, gets you AAA titles for console on PC. And so I think that years of us
Is it
asking for
$5
that.
a month?
I think
I think it's $5.
I
Is it
think
more
it's
now?
11 now.
yeah, it's 11.
And
or something.
that's still more, but that's still a steal for all the games that you get through Game Pass, in my opinion.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
That's Sea of Thieves, which is a game that gives all free updates, no DLC. Gears of War, Forza. These are all games that you'd be paying $60 or maybe like $40 and $60 per game.
Yeah, and you get the Halos, you get Banjo-Kazooie,
And it's a monthly service,
and
so you don't have to
Bethesda
renew
games now. Like, there's a lot.
All right, I don't think it's worth it for everybody, but I think like it's a pretty good thing. But think about it. Then that's $11 a month. I'll confirm it, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my credit card got charged for $11 this month.
Yeah,
for it.
and
But-
my point is just like on average
like
for
$10.59
someone that would be buying normally or saving up for a $60 game, they don't have to do that.
Yeah.
They go, hey, maybe like you're a teacher for work. Case in point, you have like some summer off, and you want to get into some games, and you're like, hey, I don't want to spend $60 on a game I'm not going to play for longer than like a couple
Or there's
weeks.
multiple games you want to play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you go, hey, there's this huge library that's on PC and Xbox that I pay $11 a month for, and I get to play these awesome games. And this is like kind of a slight promotion for it because Xbox Game Pass is awesome.
Yeah, and it's like when I wanted to play Outer Worlds,
Yeah.
it was like, I could play it on the PC with Game Pass or steal my brother's Game Pass and his Xbox and play it on there. And I was like, there I go. And like, I didn't even have to pay anything for that.
Well, you just want to rent a game for a month. You can just buy a subscription for a month.
It's true.
pay
It's
$2.
true.
I
think it's cheaper for the average person.
I think it's worth it, but with subscriptions, you can forget about it, and they
that's
kinda just
what
pile
they're
on.
counting on. I mean, we are in the age of the subscription service.
And that's also
Hands
what
down.
leads to like the next point of Xbox, in this console war. Like, what is Microsoft trying to do? Like, are they trying to just deliver this Game Pass, this Netflix, this streaming type of
I think that's where their
gaming
focus is.
platform,
Absolutely, it is.
and not like like there's a lot of games coming out, but like what's going on now, right? They're focusing on the hardware.
They're focusing on
and-
hardware and accessibility.
Yeah,
I mean, think
exactly.
about recent trailer release, Halo Infinite. Multiplayer is absolutely free. It's literally
And
completely free.
That's the most thing. That's what I'm
Yeah.
worried about, though. Like, why is the multiplayer free?
Probably because there's a back end to it, which is what I'm imagining.
What do you
Probably
mean?
some in-game purchases, I imagine.
But is it going to be cosmetic, or is it going to be all?
See,
like,
that's why I'm a little bit shaky on it.
Yeah, I'm kind of terrified.
That's unfortunately a consequence of subscription services and them focusing more on that, is that their exclusives get less attention and there's less going into it, in my opinion. And honestly, the only company that's really doing exclusives that's like part of this console war, because you could say Nintendo, but like Nintendo for me at least is
What
like
are they doing?
Nintendo's just looking down on the console war, going, nice.
Yeah, they're doing their own thing.
They've always been outside.
We'll do that in like 4 years.
Yeah,
Don't
like
you
they've been
worry.
waiting for one of these companies to give in, and now it's just going to be. Now it's what PlayStation has some exclusives.
We'll talk
That's
about.
it.
I think later on we should talk about E3 and Nintendo.
Yeah,
and
absolutely,
Xboxes,
absolutely.
but, yeah.
I just like talk just on the note of subscription services though. I think it's both hurtful and helpful, like in a lot of ways. I think it makes everything more accessible, more manageable cost wise. But on the back end, you're probably paying for a lot more stuff, individually than you would be otherwise.
So you guys don't really care about physical game copies, right?
I do
you?
personally. I mean, look at my shelf.
Yeah,
in
I know
front of
you
there.
do,
I
but,
like a good game.
What
case.
happened to it?
But
It's just Leaning Tower pizza. Don't worry about it, dude.
But the thing about this, though, right? Like, let's look what happened at Blockbuster. Like, they're like
Rest
out
in
of
peace.
business.
Rest
Like,
in
and
peace.
so I think streaming is the way of the future with gaming. I think at least. I think that's how it's.
I
just
actually
gonna go down.
disagree, because even though yes, it is like the streaming game is definitely going up. You're not wrong about that. But there's people like Kyle that there's a market for it. Those like the cases. People love that shit. So
but that happened for a bit. But I mean, like, how much do they really sell DVDs these days? Like, to be honest, Blu-rays.
You mean
I mean-
Blu-rays? Who calls them DVDs anymore,
yeah,
dude?
yeah.
I mean, do they
and-
even sell normal DVDs? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
so,
even pay attention.
Actually, I was having this conversation with my dad pretty recently, just about like DVD prices, and they are so low these days. Like, legitimately, you go into a Kroger, a Target, Walmart.
Yeah, you see like
Dude, they are like $11 for like a Blu-ray or a 4K Blu-ray movie.
like a big movie that came out like a year ago.
Normally, that shit like say like 3 years ago, because my family buy hard copies of movies because we go up north and stuff like that. We don't want to have to get digital all the time. That shit usually used to be like $25-$30 per movie,
Yeah.
and now that price is so much lower, dude.
I'm a streamer guy though. I like having my games streamed.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely. I just
my movies streamed.
Again,
I just think
there's
that
always
like
that novelty.
yeah, it's the streaming thing. Like you know, we have services like Vudu that you can literally rent the movie and you have a movie library in there. Why would you need to take out more space in your house when you have a movie library that's available through like something through your PlayStation?
Yeah.
You know, it just makes it, and there's deals on there all the time. So like it makes it less reason for places like Best Buy to sell those things.
That's why I use GameFly.com.
However,
has anyone ever used GameFly.com?
I've never used it.
I've heard of GameFly.com. Sell your games now. You know, like it's just like, what the fuck is that, dude?
I don't know.
Netflix with games.
I do enjoy having like I don't care about the digital copies. I don't honestly don't. I love just having all my games on like a hard drive, but I don't know
Physical copies.
I don't care about physical copies, but I don't know if I would be willing to switch all the way to streaming and just give it up.
Okay, so the reason I like physical copies, I only do it for like collector's editions for games that I really like generally. Case in point, Injustice 2,
And did the Metal Gear Solid
like stuff like this. Well, that was the Kojima edition.
Oh, nice.
Which really is nothing at all. It was just stuff they were putting out in like his pamphlets. But
Okay.
like stuff like this, yeah, like maps and games. I like game guides. I don't know. It goes back to like Blockbuster in a way. How like Blockbuster used to have all those game guides and like GameStop and shit used to have that. They still do, but I don't go to GameStop
Fun fact
anymore.
about Blockbuster is that they used to have. That's where the first place I played Rock Band.
Oh,
They
yeah,
had
dude.
those kiosks
Fuck
with
yes.
the guitar
Fuck
and the
yes.
drums.
Yeah, that and what was the other? Family Video.
Family
Used to
Video.
have that shit all the time. I'd be there jamming out until they
They're
kicked me
gone
out,
too.
dude.
They're done. Right. I
They
think
officially closed.
Yeah.
I think they're down to like 1 or 2 stores.
Yeah.
Here's my thing.
3
Here's
stores.
my thing.
Sorry.
I think that Blockbuster, I know this is a total tangent, but I think that Blockbuster and Family Video are going to make a comeback in the
No.
same way that Vinyl Records make a comeback.
There's
There's entire
hold on.
vinyl
I
record
can agree with
stores
that.
now. There's entire
But
vinyl
That's
record
true.
Blockbuster and for the market
Not-
of DVDs is definitely a market. Yeah, there's definitely a market.
That's what
for
I'm
that.
saying,
but
though,
not
like,
Blockbuster and Family Video.
Not
They're gone.
Blockbuster, but just the idea of stores that just sell
Oh, yeah.
DVDs and rent them. I think it's going to make a wave in the
I
next 10 to 20
remember
years.
reading an article on this, and they referred to it as retro resurgence. And it's the fact that, like, give or take 20, 30 years, something that people love a lot.
Like
Blockbuster.
vinyls.
Case in point, vinyls. Give it 20, 30 years, and you will see a resurgence of that product or something like that. Because, first of all, you have an age group that grew out of it that loves it, and you have that group, because everybody like I'll hear Blockbuster in passing conversation between like, oh yeah, I used to have a whole bunch of movies that never returned to there, which I didn't say anything, but yes. It's just like one of those things where like it's a want for something that it's like your childhood. You remember. Everybody remembers like at least people our age remembers going to Blockbuster. Like going in, like scouting out the good movies while your parents were getting some dumb shit on the side. And then there's the gaming corner. It was like Rock Band's right over there, dude. Like Mom's over in the corner. Luckily, that's some dumbass romance movies, bro.
So that begs the question. Like you talked about retro resurgence,
Yeah.
right? So if we were to look at the gaming landscape now, I bet 100% of, or not 100%, but a large majority would say that they want to play on PC. All my friends, all of you guys play on PC. It's been a rare time where we've gotten together to play on a console, like the Switch. We play Smash.
At least recently, but obviously because of COVID and stuff recently, that's been less of an option.
So
but
and then you talked about maybe a Blockbuster or Family Video opening up again for old DVDs. Why do you think if we went back 20 years ago, 2001, when the GameCube was coming out and everything, I bet people would say they're more of a console person then
absolutely
than a PC. Like you had Quake and like all those Doom and stuff.
That's another factor.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, PC's rised up like I don't know the exact year, but I feel like when Valve started pumping out.
When Steam came out, I feel like
Left 4 Dead shit like that. Was big.
But
like
Left 4
Team
Dead
Fortress
was
2.
on the console.
Yeah, but things like Team Fortress 2 though that were on PC that moved to console.
Yeah,
that was what gave PC like a really big like startup crowd.
But TF2 on console, Team Fortress 2, for those that aren't aware. I'm sure everyone is though.
Orange box.
They come in the orange box. It was such a watered down version. I played the hell out of it because I didn't have a PC. I just had an Xbox. But if you compare it, it's literally vanilla TF2 when the game straight came out compared to the PC where you have
so many updates. There's
hundreds of weapons, hundreds of customization hats. But it is kind of cool.
There's something nice about the simplicity.
It is kind of nice, like doing that. But I don't know. I still enjoy my Xbox 360 to this day.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't like play it that often.
Well,
I think it's nice.
I think a big part of that shift was when those stores like Blockbuster and Family Video started closing down. And, you know, that's where people went to go, like you said, you played Rock Band there.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like, that's where they went to, like, try out games and be like, hey, Mom.
And
like,
then there's
or Dad,
GameStop,
you know, like,
obviously. That was a
yeah,
big
exactly.
part,
And you're
but-
like, hey, like, I really like this console. And then, you know, the parent goes, okay, maybe tries it for a second. It's like, kind of fucking fired. And so, like, you know, for like, you like the Wii for Christmas or something like that. And it's like, you know, that's because you got to try it out and, you know, you got to get hands-on with the console, which,
So
when's the last time you went into a store and played a console in a store?
the last time I went,
You know?
I probably try it out an Oculus Rift. Like
Yeah.
whenever I go in a store, I like trying. I'm surprised I still haven't gotten a VR headset.
I guess we can consider
So expensive.
like VR console. It's a console in a lot of ways.
The Oculus Quest. Is
Yeah,
kind of
half
a
and
console.
half.
You know what's also considered a console? You guys remember those like Super Nintendo? Because this is kind of an interesting discussion. You guys remember the Super Nintendo classics that Nintendo released?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the
Super Nintendo.
older consoles
Yeah.
put into like a singular thing.
Yeah. So how do you guys? I would consider those a console, right? Like that's a console.
I mean, they are by definition they are a console.
It is a console.
but it's a pre.
I see it. I see it more as emulation. I see it.
Yeah,
it's
it's more
HDMI.
considered an
and
emulator.
You
in
think
my
it's an
opinion.
emulation machine?
I've seen people mod it to do other things. So, and that's
That's why I consider it a half console.
like it's like
You know?
there's the interface is interesting because it's very like, oh, it's high tech, you know, it's a very interesting interface. Then you go into the game and you go back to that, you know, nostalgic 90s feeling.
Yeah.
But then like people do crazy shit where you can play PS1 games on it or, you know, something ridiculous.
I'm sure you can't do that.
You never know, but we don't know. That's the
All
thing.
right, so I
you
mean,
know?
so I love modding the hell out of my Wii. You
Yeah.
guys know that.
As we
I
know,
love
yeah, the
modding-
most modded Wii in the West, bro.
Zero Suit Samus, yes.
But I modded the crap out of my Wii, and it can play PlayStation 1 games, but it's like very buggy. It's very difficult to do.
Yeah.
Like it crashed. Sometimes it crashes at certain points. You got to mess with the
The
settings.
risks
Some
of
games
modding.
don't
That's
even
how it
work.
is. Yeah.
It's very rough, and that's a Wii. I heard the original Xbox is actually a pretty good emulation.
Yes,
machine.
it is.
I used to have the original Xbox back when I lived in St. Clair Shores. If you remember, when at
You
that
still
house.
have it?
It's at my mom's, like somewhere in a basement, but we could grab it.
If
We
you want to
still
grab
have
it,
We-
dude,
we-
we could
I
turn
already-
that thing into a
I already have
badass.
a
I still have
modded-
two.
We already have one.
the original one.
modded
We have a modded
Xbox?
Xbox. One of our friends came over and just kind of like left it there.
Oh,
and
there you
it's
go.
Modded. It has all like
Dude,
NES
I
games.
don't remember, but I think you can actually play PlayStation 1 games on it. I
Probably.
think.
I would not doubt it. The original Xbox was so moddable; it was absolutely crazy.
Don't quote me,
Um,
but I think you can possibly emulate PS2, but I think that's
Who knows?
really stretching it.
Yeah, that
I
might for
don't-
the
yeah,
hardware that
maybe
might be
not.
too
It
much.
might. I mean, it came out at the same time.
True.
Right?
I mean, it's the same like systems for like a lot of same
Yeah.
operating systems for a lot of those games.
You can emulate the Switch though on a
Oh, yeah.
on a
Yeah.
original Xbox.
So-
I think.
Would you,
Which
so
is
here's the
crazy.
thing, like interesting conversation. Would you rather emulate a console or have emulation on your PC?
Emulation on a PC all day.
Emulation
Personally.
on a console.
I vote. There's a lot of things. I think like if you want to play like you know like a GameCube game or something like a single player, I think obviously PC. But if you want to play some multiplayer games, why not go on a console?
Well, that's
like
okay. That's a different story.
the novelty that we can bring, you know, like a bunch of games on a Wii to wherever we go, and we could do the same thing on the PC. But like, you know, if you want to have that real retro feeling, get a CRT and play any game you want on the Wii. You
I guess
can
it's
do
based
that.
on the intent for me then,
I
because
love
a lot
playing on the
of
CRT.
games I emulate are like single player games. on my
Exactly. So
PC.
if you're like
Um,
running it hardcore on your PC with great graphics,
Yeah,
like,
and like I emulate for utility. Like I emulate because I want to play games I haven't played in like a long time. And like for example, I have like a whole bunch of PS2 games, Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi HE3 on my PC. I emulate that. And like that's first of all, I mean I think we already have it on your modded Wii anyways.
Yeah.
But like I also like just enjoy like playing that game at like 2 a.m. And so like I mean, I disagree on the like I'd rather have a console, but I can see the merit of wanting a console to have that mobile unit of like this. I could play 300 fucking games on my Wii, and like I can't be stopped. You know,
Using an external hard
Nintendo
drive
can't
just,
stop
you know.
me.
even Reggie's
Um,
like looking around, peeking in the window.
My body is ready.
Doug Bowser's riding down the street in his caddy with the door.
Doug
I
Bowser.
love playing it on a CRT though. I just love the feeling. It just feels so more
It's the
natural.
classic feeling.
The Super Nintendo games and the Nintendo 64 games look so
It's very much
beautiful on a
like
CRT.
in the spirit of like the
It's
boys
beautiful.
coming over. They got the 2-liter Mountain Dew, you know,
Yeah.
early in the morning.
And
Like it's just a classic vibe.
but here's the thing though. So let's bridge it back to modern day consoles.
Oh God.
why haven't, even though we're doing a podcast on this, none of us have bought a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. Why is this? Why I want to hear from both.
two big reasons for me. One, unavailability. Scalpers has been a big reason for that. I am not going to pay $1,000 for a goddamn PS5. I like consoles. You know me, I'm a huge console guy. I have owned every single PlayStation system up to the current one.
All right,
outside
what
of
about
5.
hypothetical? You can just get it for the price that it came out with.
Absolutely. I already have a PS5 controller. I literally tried to get the console and I could not get the
So
controller.
you're going to get a PS5?
I have a person on the inside. Actually, legitimately have a guy who can get me for like
He
low
knows
price,
Reggie.
for PS5. But I probably will, in all honesty, for PS5.
But not the Xbox Series X.
No. And I have a big rant about the Xbox, but you guys should answer this
I want to
question.
hear yours.
Yeah.
I'll comment about
Yeah.
the Xbox too,
Yeah.
but I want to hear yours.
I think with COVID, it definitely stopped a lot of games to come out. So like Halo Infinite was going to come out on PC and Xbox, but I just I don't see why I should buy it. Yeah, there's the new Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank, but like, am I going to spend $500 just to get that game? Like versus okay, great example, the PS3. PS3 kind of shit the bed when it came out.
Absolutely.
But later on in its
Absolutely.
life, it
Became the MVP.
it-
Became the
it-
MVP
it-
later down the line.
Like Xbox 360 is my favorite, but
Weak
I
start,
wanted a
strong
PS3.
finish.
I wanted a PS3
Yeah.
because there's so many games that I wanted to play. Uncharted, Last of Us, even because Xbox gamers are better, so I wanted to get Call of Duty.
And honestly,
so I could scrub everyone else.
not to interrupt, but I would say that the reason the PS4 was so successful is because of the way that the PS3 set up for it. Like,
Yeah,
set it up.
I agree.
Like, legitimately.
Our first podcast was literally PS3 versus Xbox 360 versus Wii.
Yeah,
Like that was
exactly.
the first podcast. So if you guys want to hear more about that, go check that out.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
But I would love to do that again too. I would love to revisit that idea. But I still think that the 360 was the best.
I mean, personally, I do, but like that, there's a reason why that I think all of us owned every single console that generation
Yeah.
because they all put out such good quality games.
Yeah.
Versus now, when you get to the Xbox One and PS4, you choose one.
Yeah.
You choose the PC. You choose one that
that's
caters to you, and that's the
Another
sad thing.
big gripe I have with consoles is that recently, did you hear like the big like price update for consoles?
No.
All AAA
70
titles are going to be
$70, yeah.
$70 now on.
For PC too, everything.
No, for consoles.
Just for consoles.
For consoles, for next generation consoles, the price is going to be $70.
I believe I read somewhere, and it's on a
Um,
YouTube video, that the consoles are selling for a loss. They are selling because like how much good hardware there is.
Yeah.
Like they're selling for a loss.
And like I had a problem spending $60 on a AAA title, and these days playing on PC with things like Humble Bundle and Steam Summer Sale and just Steam in general, I have no reason to spend 60, 70 goddamn dollars
Preach.
on one game. That is asinine to me.
Okay, it depends on the game. I totally agree with you. I don't think games should be that expensive, but okay, if it's like
Skyward Sword.
There are certain titles I will buckle
let's
for.
not get into Skyward Sword.
I'm not immovable on the topic, but like there are certain games I'm sure like everybody has their vices. Everybody has that game they would spend that much money on.
Let's
But-
leave Nintendo out of this for a minute.
But on average, I would prefer PC 80% of the time because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I think so. Certain games that I would pay $60 for is like Red Dead Redemption 2.
I would
games
pay
like,
for like
games-
Nintendo.
games
Like
that-
obviously we're keeping Nintendo out of it, but like Breath of the Wild 2, I'd pay for that.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
like any of the remakes. No,
Fuck
we talked about
Ugh,
the
that's another
Mario.
problem I have,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's for another day.
So here's my thing about the PS5. So I think the PS4, honestly, I did not own one, but I came over to your house so many
you
times.
played it a lot.
and played your PS4 so many games. Like
Yeah.
to list off a few.
I can name like
played
3 off the top of my
the
head.
Yakuza series when it was only
Tsushima.
on PS4. Ghost of Tsushima. I loved
Final
Ghost of
Fantasy VII.
Tsushima. I played Final Fantasy VII. And actually, Final Fantasy VII Retrograde is coming out for the PS5, and it's kind of stupid. It's basically the same game with better graphics.
I
but
can't
DLC.
talk about Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
Final
7.
Fantasy. We could do a
Because
whole
of one
podcast
man.
on that shit.
Fucking Nomura.
Um,
And he's still involved, dude. I don't know what he's doing. I'm
but
so scared
I
of Nomura.
had it. I had it up here. I'm gonna look at it. The PS5 exclusives that we know are coming.
Well, I mean, I know a couple off the top of my head that make it worthwhile. I'd buy it like straight up Demon Souls.
Yeah,
remake,
Demon
dude.
Souls.
Oh my god,
remake, but that's a remake also.
I am so fine with that, man. I have played through barely any of that game, and it looks so good.
A lot of these like Godfall. I guess I don't really. Know too
Godfall.
much
There's
about
what is
Godfall.
it? The Demon Slayer game that's coming out that just came out pretty recently.
Deathloop.
Elden Ring, which I know is not a PS5 exclusive,
No.
Didn't they push at Sony? Didn't they push that?
It is.
don't
It was.
think
It
so.
was on Sony's thing, but I think it's going to be on PC.
Returnal.
I'm almost
it
positive.
has to be.
And I mean, I'm just excited because that's Dark Souls, and also George R.R. Martin is involved.
It's gonna be a match made in heaven.
I personally think
Wiener,
so.
Floppy wiener. Floppy
Like
wiener,
I just think
floppy
that it's like
wiener,
Miyazaki and Martin
wiener.
together. It's like two like cocaine making, snorting, good game making creators, dude. They're on some shit. You can't tell me they're not.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, bro.
Actually, apparently,
You know.
there's an interview they're talking about with Martin, and they were saying like how
Good old Martin.
he wrote the story like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And like he just kind of like, here you go, and
Yeah.
then he's seen a couple updates, and
I think he's at his best when he's collaborating with others.
is that-
personally?
that's the problem with this debate is like, I'm gonna play the game on my PC.
Yeah,
I'm not
absolutely.
gonna play it on a console where I know there's probably gonna be some like
And that's
shit.
that's my
like,
argument.
Lag
It's like
and
if you just like give the decision to someone, like, what would you rather play it on these? I bet you the majority of people are instantly going to go towards PC versus
Yeah.
console.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest too. I just have this. This is just a me particular thing,
Mhm.
but I have a 32-inch curved monitor. I know that's way too much.
Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah, weird.
flex. But the reason why I'm talking about that is because when I tilt it and I have my desk
Yeah.
kind of like right next to my bed, I can actually lay down on my bed and tilt my
That's a
monitor,
vibe, dude.
and it
Fuck yeah.
feels like a TV, and I can just play with the controller.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to flex.
No,
I'm just being
and I-
honest.
no,
like,
I-
Here's
no, I
not
get
the
what you're
flex.
saying.
I have 244 hertz monitors for my
I,
PC.
mean, I get what you're saying though. Like,
No, I get it.
that's fulfilling the role of a console.
that's
PC
what I'm
can
saying.
already do it
With a PC,
Yeah.
you can get the same console experience.
legitimately.
Hook up a controller.
Legit.
And, yeah.
Plug and play.
That's
Or
it's,
legit,
it's easy.
If you want to, you could even just pick up your PC, bring it to your living room, and fucking put it on your TV. Or
Exactly.
get a Steam Link. Steam Link's kind of like
If you have
I don't
Ethernet,
like
it's fine. It's literally there's like no.
Yeah, there's no lag. If you have an Ethernet cord in, you're fine.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
The only time I've ever had issues with it is when there's been a million other people on my internet along with it. But like that was rare. that it ever jumped.
that's. I mean, obviously, I think by the bias of this, podcast, you can see that I think we're PC folks. But
I mean, I'm a huge console stan that's been like, I just have a better understanding of like where I want to spend my money.
I want to
You know?
say though, it's with PC has opened up my creativity for everything.
Yeah.
Console, it's very linear. You can mod it, yes, but that's difficult. With computer, you can do so much stuff.
Well, Another big thing is that with PC, you can also use it as a workstation.
exactly.
You know, like you can't go on your PS5 or Xbox 50,000 and then start typing up your Google Doc, whatever the fuck you got to do. It's just like,
Well,
here, I'm here to game.
PC is a much
know?
better investment, one, because you can upgrade it as
Yes.
time goes on, and also you can just do so many things on a PC. They're just so much nicer.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this, even like just circling around, is like the money aspect of it, like how much you're spending on average. Where's your money most
So,
worthwhile to put?
Fun fact, viewer, if you're in this podcast so far,
Yeah,
we actually recorded this about a year ago.
Yeah.
I would say about a
Yep.
year, maybe 9 months ago, and we just didn't like it. So there was a lot of audio issues, but we
Yeah.
talked about the price of like graphics cards
Yeah.
and everything, and it has changed obviously with
Changed
scalpers and everything.
dramatically.
Yeah,
So
absolutely
right
it has.
now, I would argue that buying anything is really a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Buying a console's a pain in the ass. Getting a graphics card is a pain
but
in
we
the
are
ass.
getting to a point where it's evening out a little
So,
bit.
yeah.
It's going to become easier soon to get that sort of stuff.
In a-
hopefully.
in a regular world, buy a PC. Build a PC. That's my
what other
my
world are we
vote.
talking about here?
Like
What
Here's
of
the
the
thing,
non-regular
though.
world?
I want to jump on this. I agree with you. Like in a normal world, build a
Yeah.
PC, but also if you're about to say get a console, I'm about to be like, dude, there's no really exclusives worth getting a console right now. In my mind, there might be for you guys.
For me,
For
Demon
people
Souls
want-
remake top of my list. I've been wanting to play that for forever.
Is
and
that
I
coming
would
out
buy
on
it on PC if it
is-
was available on PC.
is it
Just
coming
get
out
the
on
original-
PS4 though?
I'm not going to play it on PS4 for a lot of reasons. The game is tailor made with some of the features of PS5
Yeah.
being like the haptic feedback, the dual sense. That shit is like apparently really adds to the game. I would not buy that on PS4.
That's
If it was available on PC, I would buy it. But right now, also PC doesn't have the drivers for that controller, so console would be the way if I'd want to get the game at the moment.
It's
But
probably
that is an amazing point. There's not a lot of reasons.
I'm
to do
guessing.
it.
I'm really guessing that the PS5 and Xbox One S2 478 is going to be like sold down the future. It's going to be cheaper, obviously, right?
It's
And
going
I
to have
think-
to be at
I
some
think
point.
that's when people are going to buy it. Like look at the Xbox One S. I think that console is pretty great. If you think about
Absolutely.
it, I think if
Absolutely.
it's like $300, you can emulate. There's the what's it called, the Xbox game dev thing where you can actually buy it
yeah.
and you can
Yeah,
you can
that's true.
emulate that, and then it literally fulfills a lot of rules. It can I don't think it can do 4K, can it? Actually, yeah, it can. Yeah.
It can.
So you have a pretty good system for $300 that
You
can
do
anything.
That's
but
true.
It's like it can't. But the PlayStation's gonna have better exclusives.
Oh yeah,
because,
of course.
Because Xbox, all
mean,
their games that are coming out for Xbox are coming out for PC too.
Yeah.
But
That's the
to
problem.
be devil's advocate, we're pretty experienced gamers, I would say at this point. Like weird flex, but like we've been playing games for a minute, and at this point, like we've not to say that we've grown out of the consoles, but like we want more out of a gaming experience. We want more utility, which is why we like PC.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the
Although
versatility.
I'll counter that.
Yeah.
I love my Nintendo Switch.
Absolutely.
I still play
And like
it.
I said, I'm leaving Nintendo out of this conversation for the most
Yeah.
part because Nintendo's like I said,
They're doing
looking
their own
down on
thing.
the whole thing.
But when it comes to utility, though, I just love the fact that you can like the
Yeah.
portability to non-portability.
But
such
I think for
seldom.
the casual gamer who's just looking for like, I just want something to play like when I get home at the end of the day, like nothing like crazy. I'm looking to like Forza, go racing. So like,
which looks beautiful,
yeah,
dude.
amazing
that
game,
game
on
looks
that console
beautiful.
is fucking awesome. If you haven't checked out Forza, like I'm not even a big racing game fan, and that shit's awesome.
Here's something interesting.
Which is an Xbox exclusive. I'll
Yes,
give them
it
that.
is.
As a
Well,
teacher,
PC, not anymore.
I talked
It's on
to
PC.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Game Pass.
All right.
as a teacher, I talk to my students and just talk. It's method, right? And you just get to know them.
Just talking. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not teaching.
No,
Just
so like,
talking.
my main teaching method. Just
Yeah,
talk.
yeah. My taxes this year. I'm talking to a 6-year-old. Yeah,
it's
my
like-
taxes this year were a little higher than you. Anyways, no, but at the kid's age that I was at, I was still playing like PS2, GameCube, and this kid who was like 11 has a PC. He built a PC.
Yeah.
At 11. So and I know people that built them younger.
Yep.
It's like it's
I mean,
becoming
there are tons
that
of
market.
YouTube like videos. Like
Yeah.
How to build a PC
And that's
in 5 minutes.
that's a huge thing is that YouTube coming in and showing how easy it is to build a computer, right? A lot of kids are just seeing it and then doing it.
Yeah.
Because then they have a PC for life. They know
Yeah.
how that
Well, the
skill.
flip side of that is too is that people that don't want to do that, consoles their way. People that don't want to go through like
I
building all
wouldn't say
this
that's
shit.
true either. There's pre-builds now. There's
Yeah,
gaming laptops
but
that are amazing.
Pre-builds, in my opinion, are a little bit expensive.
Okay, here's my thing. I will never buy a pre-built
Yeah,
desktop
personally,
in my
I would-
life.
I would never do a
One-
pre-build.
One, because if you build the PC, you can diagnose it significantly better
Oh, yeah.
True,
than that.
true.
A pre-built PC, you don't know what the fuck's going on. You don't know what
Yeah.
to do
all,
with that thing.
Dude, all the software, like the McAfee shit, like the
Yeah.
antivirus
Yeah,
software,
that they
is
give you.
fucked.
It's
Yep.
stupid. No, Microsoft Security Essentials, like you can get. You
However-
can
Well, I had to take a whole bunch of shit off my
However,
dad's
I never
laptop that he
pay for
bought.
virus protection. You get some
No.
great free virus protection. You don't need
in,
to
in a
spend
VPN,
money.
VPNs
Well,
are
like
like
with
the
my
way to
dad's
go.
laptop upstairs, the new one that he bought, like
I-
I had to take a whole bunch of shit off of it.
Yeah.
It
I
was
think
so bad.
VPNs. I would not spend money on a VPN. This is like a whole different discussion.
That yeah.
But there.
That's a whole different discussion. That's a
yeah.
different monster.
But yeah, I don't want to go into that right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
But, that's, but I'll explain that later at some point.
Anarchy!
VPN. No.
Where's Nord, dude? That son of a bitch.
But like I'll just say this: there are free VPNs that allow
Yeah.
you a certain amount of
Absolutely.
gigabytes per month. So if you actually want to use a VPN to like watch like a show.
This podcast is sponsored by NordVPN.
No, it's not. It's not.
Nord's gonna fucking take down our
Yeah.
video, dude.
I'll say this. So I like YouTube Premium. YouTube Red.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I pay $1 a month for it.
Same.
Because I used a VPN to change my location to India and then paid it with Indian rupees, and it only cost about $1 a month.
Sean's FBI agent.
Sean's playing Legend of Zelda out here, dude.
I don't give a fuck.
I'll offer
That's
you
not
20
illegal.
rupees.
It's not illegal. I'm saying, but there's a use for that, and
Bombs?
there's
Nope.
also,
You want them, my friend? They're
Oh,
yours.
That's
NordVPN
totally-
protects all your bombs.
but
no.
Wait.
No. We're done. We're moving.
We're talking about Legend of Zelda, goddammit.
I don't get it.
Kyle's FBI agent.
This is fucking.
What just happened?
Kyle has
What did
bombs.
I-
Oh, wait, what?
Nothing goes over my head. I'm too
Nothing.
quick. I would catch it.
Nothing.
Don't.
Don't-
Anyways.
Did you say something extremely offensive?
No, dude.
No.
What are you talking about?
What?
What just happened?
Sean's somewhere else right now,
I
dude.
totally missed this joke. It totally went over my head.
Tracks to the story,
Anyways,
dude.
so where were we? Actually, so look, I can talk about the Switch for a second. We can bring up this Nintendo side. I feel like everyone that has a PC, at least for me, is that they have a Switch somewhere. They have like that Nintendo console, right?
Yeah.
I feel that Nintendo serves another purpose than what the consoles and PCs do. So I think Nintendo, you have those like party games. You have Mario Party, you have Mario Kart, Smash, whatever, right? You have that. If people come over, you're going to play that. You're most likely going to play the Switch. You're not going to go sit at the computer and watch someone play Skyrim. But like
With the Switch, you could do both though.
with the Switch, you can do both, and that's what Nintendo's doing. They're like, oh, maybe we should have some of that, console.
Well, Nintendo's whole thing is like gaming when you want, all the time, forever. Like straight up, like you can't grab your PlayStation, fucking look at the PlayStation and press the buttons.
You can get one of those.
It's not gonna happen.
Foldable monitors that it's like the
Nintendo thing is accessibility.
Yeah.
That is their strongest suit. They've done that really well for a long time, and that's something
I think
that's
for the longest time
never
you
changed.
had your Switch by your desktop.
Yep, Switch
right?
For a little bit. Yeah, I had the Switch by my
If
desktop.
you're updating like a game or doing like
You just
something.
take it out, throw out some Gungeon, dude.
Yeah.
Play that shit. It's nice and easy.
I think that's what the Switch's purpose is.
It's a pairing console. It's
Yeah.
a pairing
I
console.
also
It's literally just for like you can add it into anything you do during the day.
Yeah.
There's a
You
lot
know?
of great single player experiences on the Switch
Yeah.
as well. There's a lot of games that you could just not get on any other console.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo's just always kind of had to figure out as far as that shit's gone. But I don't know. Like I said, I really don't consider them part of the console war just because
They serve
They're-
their own thing.
they're legitimately just doing their own thing, and there's no point to compare because
So,
Nintendo
do we-
would blow both out
Do
of the
we
water.
want to talk about E3 right now?
Yeah, I think that's a
Go-
good part
go-
to kind of
get on
segue
board.
into is
What do you guys think
how
won
disappointing
E3?
it was.
E3. I
Okay, in my opinion, E3 doesn't exist anymore.
it's okay. It's like
E3 used to be this huge thing. Like
I-
I remember, we would get my Oak Park house over there. We'd get together,
Yeah.
sit in the living room, get some snacks, some drinks, sit it out. It's like a 2 to 3 day thing. Throw it on the channel, and like some hype ass shit would be releasing. You'd get like, I remember we were watching the one for Halo 4, and when Halo 4 dropped
Oh, yeah.
during E3, that shit was fucking insane,
Yeah.
guys. Like that was like when GameStop was still around promoting all that stuff. Like
I used to
awesome,
dream of like wanting to go to E3.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to go
Now
to
I
E3
don't.
one day.
it just sounds disappointing.
yeah, and it's kind of, it feels like it's almost returning to what E3 used to be, where it was like a press conference of like it was meant for like the marketing people, and I feel like it's slowly returning, even though like they have some show aspects of it. I just feel like they're coming out and they're showing, like they're not showing games. They're showing what their company's about and their ethics and
Well,
everything.
I think the big difference is there's no AAA titles. It's
There-
all indie games, dude.
There is some
Almost all indie games.
you have Ubisoft over here, Mario Rabbids, Far Cry 6.
but-
Mario Rabbids is actually a really solid game.
Here's the point I'm going to bring up
Solid
though.
game.
If you think about E3 5 years back, the balance of AAA titles
Yeah.
versus indie games is so different. It was mostly AAA titles. Indie games trickled in throughout, maybe at the end. Now, indie games, bam, 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 and it's like every once in a while you'll see a big name.
and I
That's
actually
true. That
5
is
years
true.
ago, was it 2016?
Forgot
Right?
about that.
So that's No Man's Sky was like the indie game.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the game that caught everyone's eyes, right? So like
Well, this is all interconnected,
then
and
I feel like
Nintendo's partially to blame for some of it.
Nintendo
Well, hear me out.
for No Man's Sky.
No, not
No.
for No Man's Sky. I'm talking about for the E3. stuff.
Reggie came over and
Okay.
blew up.
Well, so Nintendo Treehouse, yeah, the directs, they're doing their own thing now. Guess what PlayStation did after that? PlayStation doesn't go to E3 anymore.
Yeah, why?
PlayStation now has PlayStation, whatever the fuck it's called, Direct now. I don't know what the fuck it's called. It's PlayStation's own little thing they do now, because they're showing traditionally, like their last even mentionable showing at E3 was Last of Us 2 trailer.
Yeah.
And that was it. They had it like a hall. They had somebody come out and they played on guitar. It's pretty cool. That was it. And like that was PlayStation's last year at E3. And so now all these big companies aren't at E3 anymore. Like Nintendo shows up for a couple announcements.
No, they just have like a
But they have their own
direct
thing.
video. They
yeah,
just
they,
have a
they
video.
literally just do their own thing
And
now.
you
It's
can
because all these
see
big companies aren't there
sometimes
anymore.
their reputation, not Nintendo, but like a game company's reputation is kind of like gone, right? When you look at like how cringy Ubisoft like their shit was, or like Square Enix, like it's like okay, that was Interesting.
Yeah.
Are you
That
talking
was-
about the current E3?
Well, that's
Yes,
If you think about it, that's
So,
part of the console war too. Is
I
because
wanna- I
sorry, you
wanna-
finish first.
I want to talk about E3, like the specific ones.
Yeah.
I like because you mentioned Square Enix. Like, I really, really did not like the Square Enix.
It was terrible.
E3.
It was absolutely
So,
terrible.
We like when it
Chaos.
yeah the whole chaos thing. So I don't know. I don't know
I'm
if
going
you
to
guys-
destroy chaos.
That was laughable. That was cringy. It looks like a horrible
Because
Dark
you know
Souls
who's
clone.
involved.
Tetsuya
Goddamn
Nomura.
Nomura.
I don't know if he's writing it though. I'm not
He's
sure.
involved in the
He's
script
involved.
writing.
If he is, then that's
Fucking
fucked.
Nomura.
Because,
It's Nomura, dude.
but like I don't know. That was just bad. And then there were two
Ugh.
other things that pissed me off. So Yoko Taro, the guy who wrote Nier Automata
Yeah.
and the Nier series, he's one of my favorite writers in the video game industry. The amazing storyteller, and he's going to be involved in this Tower of Babel like project.
Yeah.
And then like I was like, holy shit! Like, is this going to be the next big like philosophical like video game engrossing experience? And then we find out it's live service, and that pissed me off. I hate live service. And then they came out with these pixel.
Remind me again, what's live service?
Live service is basically the philosophy of. It's hard to explain. I guess I'm not the best at explaining it, but it's basically the philosophy of games as a service instead of games as a product.
Yeah.
So you know how like
You wouldn't pay anything on the front end.
Fortnite is a perfect
It's a free
example
game.
of games as a live service.
Yeah.
So you get it and you continually like kind of
Yeah,
play it.
think of it like you don't pay anything on the front end, you pay a lot on the
And
back
it's like
end.
the same gameplay.
Yes.
And
Or Fallout 76, like they release it, this bare bones piece of shit product,
Yeah.
and then every now and
Oh,
then
I
you
get
get
live
it's,
service.
Destiny
it's meant
2,
to pull you in
Destiny
with
2.
like one or two big gimmicks that people like the game
So it's-
for, and then it's a barren ass
It's like
game
when
on
they
the
release
inside.
a game when they update it and they add more
It's releasing an
content.
unfinished game
Yeah.
with extra steps.
And not just that, it's a game that's meant to be played over like a long period of time
Yeah.
instead of just like sending out like a
I-
Dark Souls.
Another one, like I haven't played it before, but Genshin Impact is another one that's
Yeah.
huge
That's
right
a live
now.
service. Let me
Gotcha.
look up like a
So what was
great
the second
definition.
thing? What was the second thing?
Yeah. People know what live service means, but
Yeah.
that's the philosophy of it. But the third thing was the pixel remasters for the first 6 Final Fantasies. And when I saw that they were going to remaster the 6 Final Fantasies, I was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
like these are some of my favorite games. I haven't played 2 or 3 or 4 and I was so excited to play them." But then they looked okay, like they looked good. I was just excited to see it. And then at the end, it said releasing for Steam and mobile. Not consoles, not nothing. And the fact it just baffles me because I don't know if you guys knew this, but they released the Final Fantasies on mobile before and then just ported them to PC and they were just god awful. So I feel like this is just stupid cash grab. They're going to be horrible ports, horrible remasters, but I was so hyped when I found out they were going to remaster it. And then I found out they're just going to be fucking shitty mobile ports.
So there is kind of a causality to all this. So originally, when the big three companies, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, were all at E3, I would say that E3 worked because they had the console war going on. They all relied on each other to be competitive and to draw in a crowd. Yeah. So like,
it's a good
you know,
theory.
you
Yeah.
had Xbox gamers that came into like, fuck PlayStation, PlayStation gamers, fuck the Xbox people. And you had a lot of people going there to like, my exclusives are better, my exclusives are better. Nintendo people were there to chill. They don't give a fuck, watch the chaos. But as those companies left, you didn't. I bet you 6 years ago, you would not see a single live service game at E3. Elder Scrolls Online, maybe closest thing to it. But now think of this: Diablo Immortal. You remember that E3 where the fucking guy came up on the mic and was like, "Is this an out of season April Fool's joke?" Like when they were, because it was in a Diablo mobile game,
Yeah.
and people were fucking pissed.
What was that? The Dota artifact?
Dota Artifact, another perfect. Like people do not like this shit. Being like, okay, I guess I'm putting that the wrong way because they get played. But people don't like that shit as an E3 announcement. No one likes that as a spot for a game. They're expecting something big to be there.
Because I guess like to fully put down what live service is, like from a company's standpoint, is to create a game that people will play as long as possible, so they can get as much microtransactions from people as possible.
And so
it's not a game made to like be a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why Nintendo doesn't do live service shit, because they want to make games to make games for people to enjoy them. They don't want to suck money out of people.
The running theory is, at least for me, is that without these large gaps in E3 that need to be filled, they're just shoehorning fucking anything they can into these slots to keep E3 being a thing. In my opinion, 5 years from now, E3 is going to be gone.
And that's like going back to the console aspect and like PC. It's like what's confusing too is what. Like, everyone's making something for something, except for, like, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. They're going to make things for themselves, but, like, when you go to, like, a Square Enix, and you go to Ubisoft, and you have, what else happened? EA? I don't know, right? You have all this stuff. It's sometimes it's very confusing to see what publishers are, what are they doing for other consoles? Like, what is, because Bethesda's actually working on a game for the Sony right now.
Yeah.
Even though they're owned by Microsoft, they have a game coming out, right? So it's getting kind of confusing of like what these guys are doing for what console, and that was the beauty of their early E3s. It's like, oh, this is Nintendo.
Yep.
Oh, this is Sony. Now it's like
It's magical.
Here's Guardians of the Galaxy. That's going on
it's-
every single console.
Now that E3 is more primarily indie games, that's creating a cycle of more people that are creating indie games. We're like, hey, let's get into E3. Let's hop on, maybe see if Bethesda wants to pick us up for like a show or like a trailer or something like that. Because there's no big name games or companies outside of those guys.
But is this a problem though? Because I think
It's a
indie
good thing and a
games
bad
are
thing.
great.
You know me, I'm a huge fan of indie
I
games.
love indie games.
I
but
fucking love indie games, but
when you
in my
think of
opinion, that's not what E3 is about.
Yeah, I agree. When you think of E3, it should be like these hype,
It's the grand gaming event of the year.
It's
what people look for. It's like everybody's like, fuck, E3's like, at least back in the heyday of it, like it was like, fuck, E3's right around. Like I remember the week before E3, I'd be like, E3's fucking coming up, dude. Like I gotta get fucking ready. Like finish my homework early. Like bust out the chores. Like this shit's happening, and I gotta be there to watch it.
This one was just very disappointing.
And traditionally, if you look at the last like 3 E3s, you can say they've been progressively getting more disappointing, in my opinion.
Except for Nintendo 3 years ago.
What would
True.
happen 3
That
years
was
ago?
the Banjo Kazooie Hero. Breath of the Wild.
Big,
2.
but now they're not part of E3. So
Well, Nintendo is.
They
but
are.
like,
I mean,
they
they
are and they
released their
aren't,
Nintendo Direct during E3.
okay.
It was considered E3.
It's considered E3, but
literally
Nintendo has been doing their own thing for a little bit now, and now they're, in my opinion, they're just there to help E3. Nintendo does not need E3.
That's literally everyone. Like I will admit I set my standards too high, so that Nintendo Direct.
Your Nintendo standards are always extremely high. Every time,
honestly,
you grade every Direct so harshly, dude, and I can understand.
The character pick was actually pretty good.
No,
I can agree. I'm not the biggest fan of Tekken.
Dude.
I know you haven't played Tekken.
No. Here's my thing. Tekken is a insanely competitive game. Tekken 7 it's a great competitive game. When Sakurai's motto is like not trying to make this game competitive. I don't know if you heard that story. Sakurai was like playing Tekken, I think, and they were at an arcade cabinet, and he was just kicking ass. He was kicking this opponent's ass. He didn't know, so he looked to the right and he saw this new gamer.
Yeah,
and I think it was a woman. I could be completely wrong, but she was like not enjoying it, and he kind of like thought to himself, "Why? I need to make a game that everyone can enjoy. I need to make a game that like I'm gonna make a fighting game, but make it so that even if you're not the best, you can still have a great time."
Was this before the Smash Bros. On 64? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this was way before. That was his whole, and
The
that still
inception of
is.
it.
It's like when he saw Melee becoming too competitive, that's why Brawl turned into this, kind of slower game. So when you add literally one you have Street Fighter 2, like that, but I think Ryu was in Smash 4 and kind of like he was fine. But when you add, have you seen some of the shit that Kazuya like has done? Like there's like a level 9 bot defeating top players. That's insane. And if you're telling me that that's gonna be like open to people, like people, like a new player comes in and they see that the fucking Kazuya is like beating pro players, that's not cool.
He just came out. He just came out. He's not even out yet.
I disagree with that personally. So there's two scenes. I'm not trying to get on super like Nintendo tangent, but I think there's two kinds of people that play Smash. You either play it for the extreme competitiveness, or you play it just to play it. And I play just to play it personally.
Yeah, that's
like I'm gonna get Kazuya because I just want another character in the game to fucking dog shit on someone with.
I think he's a great pick. One, because Tekken is
Tekken's a legendary
Tekken
series.
is a
dude.
legendary series,
Yeah.
and it absolutely deserves representation.
But
in
Master
Smash.
Chief, motherfuckers, I
Here's
don't
the
understand.
thing, Master
Goku.
Okay,
Yeah, I think Goku.
I
deserves
want the whole. I want 5 Dragon Ball Z characters in Smash Ultimate right now.
all right.
Like,
I'm gonna tell you
Fuck
this,
off.
David. Though I don't know if you know this, but Microsoft or 343, who somebody fucking said it,
Yeah.
who owns the rights to Master Chief, said, "We haven't heard anything about it. It's not gonna happen.
They're lying.
Master Chief
Dude,
is not coming to
They
Smash."
never. They're not gonna. Nintendo's not gonna reach out to goddamn Xbox to get Chief. It's not.
They
gonna
have
happen.
Banjo Kazooie. They have Steve. They have the
Banjo-Kazooie
Dragonborn.
is a
Dude,
Nintendo-
all games that are
Nintendo
on-
64 game.
but it's still owned
all
by
games.
Microsoft.
All games that are on
yeah,
Nintendo
but
though.
But Banjo Kazooie is kind of
Tekken
is
has
a Nintendo
never been on a
character.
Nintendo console, has it?
I disagree. I think it has. I'm almost positive it's on Switch.
I won't say it's. I don't think it is.
I don't.
There's gotta be a Tekken
Gotta
game
look
out
it
there.
up.
There probably has been, but like I don't think so.
I'm just saying because like Halo's never been on any Nintendo.
Well, at the
console.
time, Final Fantasy, there was a couple games,
Here we
but
go.
like Cloud was never on a Nintendo.
Final Fantasy VII is on the Switch.
But no, like when it came out in 2015, there was only like two
yeah, I guess there
GameCube-
wasn't the
Yeah.
Switch. Yeah.
Game Boy games. Excuse me, not GameCube.
I mean,
But Final Fantasy,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
there's
looked
been
like it.
Game Boy games. I mean, wait, Final Fantasy 1 through 6 was Nintendo series. Final Fantasy 1 through 6.
I'm talking
was
about
all
yes,
throughout
you're right. You
Super
guys, and then
Nintendo.
it went to Sony. But I'm talking about like Cloud. Cloud.
But Cloud is like the figurehead of Final Fantasy.
yeah, I agree. When you think of
So-
Final Fantasy, you probably think of Sephiroth and Cloud first. I imagine.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes.
Unless you like are really into the series, you'll
But
think of
I
other
think
shit.
about it makes sense. I mean, you may not like Kazuya in there, but I think it makes sense for him to be in there.
if you
It's better
were
than
if
another
you were a
goddamn
Tekken-
sword fighter character,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So
If you were a
I'll take
Tekken
anything.
fan, you would be like ecstatic.
yeah, I know
if
a
I'm
whole
gonna,
bunch of
if I'm
Tekken
gonna
fans are
play
freaking out about. it.
Kazuya, I'm gonna play Tekken.
Okay,
He's-
but,
yeah,
okay,
like-
that's a crappy argument to make because then I want to just play Cloud. I'll just play Final Fantasy. If I want to play Banjo,
No,
I'll
but
just
it's
play Banjo.
But it's a
Kazooie.
fighting game. and That's the difference.
You know,
No, but okay, but here's
You
the
know?
thing. He's gonna make it more interesting. I mean, and here's also the thing. We have some of the most legendary fighting game characters in one game
Yeah.
together. We have Ryu, we have Kazuya now.
Literally
we
fucking
have
Sephiroth.
we have Terry. We have Terry. Like the fact that
Yeah.
these King of Fighters and Street Fighter and Tekken all being in the
Exactly.
same
And, like,
game
if
together
they're gonna put-
is
if they're gonna put-
legendary.
If they're gonna put King of Fighters in, why would they not put Tekken in, dude? Tekken's a way bigger
Yes,
series than
but,
King
like,
of Fighters.
But Terry Bogart's such a cooler character.
Okay, you just like his design more. You've never played Tekken. You don't like, not to dog on you, but like what do you know about the Tekken series?
I know there's a panda.
Case in point, you're not a huge fan of Tekken.
Yeah,
You know,
how,
it's
about,
like-
how about I tell you this? Play Tekken for 5 hours and play COD Get, and I bet you at the end of it you're gonna be like, dude, I'm glad this guy's in Smash.
I don't know. I
I can
do it.
We've
Don't-
literally had
don't
this
knock it.
conversation
It's-
before.
It's Bandai Namco that owns Tekken, I believe. I think that's who
Yes.
it is, and they helped
Namco.
make Smash. And they only have two characters, and they have Pac-Man and they have Kazuya now. And I don't know. I just
All I'm gonna say is we've had this conversation once before, and when Byleth released, and we were dogging on Byleth, and Sean loves Byleth because you played the game.
I love.
You love
Byleth.
Three Houses.
I am so happy.
And it's for
Byleth
people
is
that
in
love that
Smash.
series.
Shut
Well,
the
people
fuck
that,
up.
People that love that series
I
go,
love
fuck
Byleth.
yes, Byleth is in this game. Hell yeah. And so, like, I don't play that. And so for me, that's not exciting because I'm not a huge Fire Emblem guy. That's fine.
I lost my
But-
shit when I
but
found out Byleth. was
Equally,
in
you're
Smash.
probably not nearly as excited about Kazuya as you are Byleth, right?
Uh,
You like Byleth more than Kazuya, I imagine.
yeah, I mean, I'm not super excited. I just think it's a good pick. Like
Yeah,
objectively,
like, but you-
objectively,
It-
I'm not
it's
saying
pandering
it's
to
my
an
favorite pick.
audience that wasn't previously included in the community. Fire Emblem's been pandered to fucking high hell in Smash, but Tekken has never been done. It's a huge series,
well, there was the
and
what's
I
his
just
name?
think I think it makes sense.
There's the Mii costume.
Yeah,
the,
and I mean,
the what's I forgot his name. the old
Waluigi
guy.
Mii costume. Where we at? Like, come on. I just think that there's always going to be someone who's unhappy with the Smash character pick. Like, no one's ever going to be fully satisfied with every pick that comes across the table. But if Smash Ultimate's about everything, it's about representation across multiple series.
All right, we shouldn't
So,
talk.
yeah, I don't
too
wanna
much
keep going
about
on
Wait,
this
it.
I have a
tangent.
question to kind of relate back
Yeah.
to it. What? So Nintendo has Mario. Microsoft has Xbox, or Microsoft has Master Chief. Sony has Crash, Spyro. Who is PC's representation?
Gordon Freeman.
I'll say Gordon Freeman, dude.
Yeah,
Valve.
that's my vote
When
as
you
well.
think of like PC, like neckbeard gaming, dude, you think of Crowbar and you think of TF2.
I
in my
think
opinion.
I think
I also
he would
think
be.
Shell is pretty, but that's
Yeah,
all Valve.
Portal. Yeah, any of that
I
stuff.
think
any of
I
that
think
stuff.
for
GLaDOS.
I think
GLaDOS.
for Smash Ultimate to represent like gaming as a whole, I think like I love Master Chief, but I think a Steam Steam
it's
character
unreasonable.
would be like Heavy would be cool. Like I don't know how they would implement that, but like
Like Pokemon, down
don't-
B, you switch between the characters.
oh, that'd be sweet.
I don't know why I'm spacing, but I feel like there are so many good PC characters that we could choose from. I mean,
I just
World of Warcraft.
personally, I just know that
That'd be
that
insane.
good old
Thralls
Sakurai. I
and
know
shit.
he's not the biggest PC gamer. He's always been more of a retro arcade like local
Yeah.
games kind of guy. So I don't think it's gonna.
He plays mine. That's why he added.
He plays some
loved
PC games, of
Minecraft,
course,
yeah.
but like I just don't think it's his it's not his forte. You know,
Yeah.
he's the guy who like is in charge of Smash. He's there to play local games with the boys. That's his shit.
I
you
don't
know?
think it's just. I'm pretty sure it's just not Sakurai picking characters. I
Oh,
don't think
of
it's
course
like his
no,
choice.
literally, it's not him
So-
going. You're that one's in. No,
From
he
what
just-
I
deliberates.
recall, it's like a lot of people like he has the final decision,
Yeah.
but a lot of people in
Like
in
Nintendo.
Nintendo
There's no,
will
yeah,
be
there's
like,
no way him by himself has the only say in it. I'm just saying, I'm sure he has some input.
Yeah.
I
you
think
know?
he has the final decision.
So
Yeah.
I do want to mention this point too, just to kind of relate to back because
we
we've been-
need to talk. We
Yeah.
need to get off
Break-
Nintendo.
yeah.
we've been
though.
talking about how the PC's better, but we literally just had 20 minutes talking about a Nintendo Switch game on the
Well,
console.
I think the Switch is a fantastic.
That's
I
what-
think it's
so,
a
like-
fantastic
like
console.
that's what I think is that we go to, and I bet a lot of other people too is that, and we said this earlier, is that people have a computer and they have a Switch. I think that is like
The
The-
perfect match
the-
made in heaven.
yeah, I think yeah, like it's
End of the day, if you want to be a full gamer, just
However-
get a Switch and buy a PC.
However, PS5 just came out. Xbox Series X just came out. I don't have much hope for the Xbox Series X.
I have
to be
more hope for the
honest,
PlayStation than I do the
because
Xbox.
I got the PC, but the PS4 did release some amazing
Oh,
solar
yes.
single player games, and
And-
I'm excited to see what they'll do in the next 4
I'm
years.
gonna like God of War Ragnarok is coming out soon.
yeah, that's
PS5.
gonna
God of
be
War.
God of War. If y'all haven't played the new God of War PS4, like the newer one, go play that.
Yeah.
shit.
And I was gonna say the Yakuza series is a
Yeah.
PlayStation exclusive, but now they're all on PC.
Like
so
PlayStation is pretty much the only
they lost
out of
that.
the two is the only one that has exclusives anymore.
Are
So
we,
it's not a console war.
are we wrapping up or what?
Yeah, I'm probably pretty soon, I imagine. But the console, I mean, in my opinion, the console war's over.
Yeah, it's
There's no console.
it's
war
kind of
anymore.
getting
There's
really
no
muddy.
console
We're in a
war.
muddy like
that
state.
shit died with PlayStation 4 and Xbone. Yes,
Mm.
my feet.
Zoom in on that shit, baby.
Oh, gross. gross.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, there's no console war anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It
it's
doesn't. Tell me how it's alive.
I mean,
if you think
I'm
it
not.
is.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying. Do you remember like back in the day when we would get in fucking arguments?
and your dad would have to.
My dad
intervene.
would hop in on some of it because he's a PlayStation guy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like, what
I
the fuck is
I
Xbox?
remember this one time. I think I was staying the night at your place when we were young ass kids, probably like elementary school or
Mhm.
some shit or early middle school, and I was just shitting on the PlayStation for.
I
no
remember we
reason.
were walking down this fucking street, dude.
No, it was at the old.
There's
It
a
was
lot of
at
times
your
we did
old
that.
house.
Fair.
It was
There
at
were
your
a lot
old
of times
house.
we did that.
I think we're about to like do something, and I was like, Shh, it's so shitty how the PlayStation can't do this. Like the Xbox can do this. I don't remember it. And your dad was like, you know what? Shut up. This is my PlayStation.
Yeah.
I just remember
Well,
that.
to be
and
fair, my dad's the one who got me into PlayStation. He owned a PlayStation
but
1.
then
and he loved that shit.
And I was kind of like, you know what? You're right. Like that's where I kind of was like, you know what? PlayStation has its things. Xbox has its things. And then once I finally got a PS3 towards the end of the era and started playing,
I understood a little bit more.
I
God of War, you got the God of Wars a
I
lot.
got the
remember
God of
that.
War
Yeah.
trilogy, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude!" I played Shadow of the Colossus,
Yeah.
and I was like, "PlayStation has some shit."
Absolute bangers.
And
Yeah.
you can play PS2 games on the PS3, so I got into like Silent Hill
I mean,
and like,
so then
oh my god, there's so
basically
many
by
good games.
process of
Spyro,
elimination, PlayStation wins.
what? No, I'm not willing to let PlayStation win.
Kind of just the Xbox was an exclusive. It's over.
Okay, well, Xbox Series X is dead, but I think the
You heard it here,
360
folks.
still is better than the PS3.
I think just by outlasting them though, I think PlayStation wins the console war.
I think PC wins the console.
If
war.
I'm looking at
It's
it,
not even. It's a console.
if I'm
war.
looking
God
at
damn
it,
it,
if
not
we're
a
gonna decide a
war.
winner of like the console war, I
it's
think
too early.
No, I'm
It
talking
wasn't
about-
my intent to do so, but
Yeah.
I mean, think
it's
logistically.
Sony.
Logistically, think about Xbox is not making exclusives anymore.
All right, if you guys want the best
Put
console
it in the comments,
of all
bro.
time,
Put it in the comments. I want to see what you're saying.
the Dreamcast.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
So Really quick before we like wrap things up, I
Yeah.
want to go through like
How long? How are we? We're wrapping up. How long has it been?
an hour.
How long? Hour.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I think like I want to go through like each of the generations and
Yeah.
see what you would pick. PC or like
Yeah, let's do like a
generation.
like
Bracket,
let's do PS2 like GameCube.
All right.
I would honestly pick the consoles during that. PC there wasn't a lot of stuff coming out
Wait,
then.
hold on.
Fair.
Let's go all the way back.
Well,
Let's give it a minute.
all the way back.
Let's
yeah, no. I'm thinking because what
It's
are the
beginning
games
of the
that
first
we-
microchip.
Yeah, when we've experienced gaming, that was like the
When
first one.
Reggie
Okay.
and Doug Bowser
can we
sprung
do-
from the earth.
Can we do
Who was
start
first?
from Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis? What would you guys rather have?
Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo.
Let's just
That's
keep
not a
this
hard
quick.
choice.
Super
Yeah,
Nintendo.
let's
Super
run through it,
Nintendo. Me
run through
too.
it.
All right. What about Nintendo 64 versus PlayStation 1?
That's 64.
Nintendo 64. But honestly, now that I
It's
think
a hard
back
choice.
on
It's
it,
a close choice.
PlayStation 1 has some great
It's
I
some
love.
bangers.
You're coming from the guy who loves PlayStation 1 with a heartbeat, but I could say more games I play today come from the
N64, yeah.
So.
Yeah, but also Final Fantasy 7 and Metal Gear Solid, great games. But I think
we're both on N64 as well.
Nintendo
so,
64.
yeah.
What's interesting though, I think Nintendo 64 had better sound, but PlayStation 1 had better graphics.
Yeah.
Is that
Yep.
the case?
I think so, something like that.
Or he was reversed. I don't know.
All right, so now next
big
is
one.
we can introduce PS2, Xbox, GameCube versus PC.
Yeah.
PC is starting the you have
PC's
Quake,
not in here.
but
It,
no, you
it's
had Quake.
around, but
Yeah.
it's not prevalent.
A lot of that's where Team Fortress 1 started to come through. It's there's a lot of games.
At this point, I'd still give it the PS2 personally.
GameCube. We've already talked about this GameCube.
Well, I thought
GameCube.
you were
Yeah,
saying
we
PlayStation
already
2.
have a whole podcast about this.
I mean, yeah.
No, I'm just
I
saying
thought
like
we were
what
going
would you
to-
rather choose? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm
saying.
saying PS2.
Yeah, he's
um,
it's GameCube. GameCube.
GameCube for me because
Yeah,
that's
PS2
what I
for me.
grew up. Actually, I don't know.
For me, it's
looking
PS2.
back
'cause
on
PS2
it,
was my childhood. Straight up.
I-
PS1 and GameCube, but between PS2 and GameCube, PS2.
I think objectively PS2, but personally, I would rather have a GameCube.
Okay.
So and then
And the big dog one becomes
PS3, Xbox 360,
Xbox
PC.
360.
I think at this time, like if I was younger, I'd probably go PC because
But
like all
Xbox
those.
360.
But
is
Xbox
just,
360, yeah.
just for the legacy,
360
man.
for sure, but PS3 has some solid exclusives,
Yeah.
and the Wii
But
is
they're
an
not nearly as
emulation,
legendary.
beautiful
Yeah.
machine.
I mean, the Xbox 360 just has the most legendary games. Halo 3,
Yeah.
Gears
Yeah,
of War 3,
and it had the
Fable
best.
3.
And
Or 3.
back in that day, man, Xbox Live was the shit.
It
Yeah,
was the shit.
I
It was the
agree.
shit.
I agree.
Yeah.
PlayStation had
So
nothing on it.
then we have the Wii U, the Xbox
Wii
One,
U gets in the dumpster
PS4.
and PS4
PS4 for me.
versus console too. Choose
with
the PS4.
PC.
versus
I'm
PC.
At that
choosing
time.
PC. I'm choosing
PS4.
PC.
Hmm?
Choosing PC
I'd say PS4 personally.
over the. You serious?
Yeah.
You're actually serious.
I wasn't a PC guy at the time.
I would take PC
I
three
would-
times
I
over
would take
PS4.
PC as well.
I would say
Jeez.
PS4.
But I can respect that PS4.
Yeah.
A lot of exclusives. And then
If we're talking about like at that timeline, straight up PS4.
And now it's so early to tell. But
now
right now,
PC.
my vote is PC. With
My vote is
a
PC.
with a
PC.
Nintendo Switch on the side.
A little side mussy of Nintendo Switch.
I think that's
chilling.
fine too. I think you should have one console, being a Switch, and a PC.
Yeah.
But if you're really a PlayStation Sony fan,
It's the age of the PC personally for me.
Maybe.
yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
PC. Yep.
So at the end of the day, PC's. I mean, from the synopsis we got from all of that.
Yeah.
Right now, PC's kind of currently the way to go. Don't forget about your little side piece of Switch on the side.
But
Yeah,
at
it's
the time
important.
of this recording, with all the graphics card scalping, it's a fucking shit.
It's what
time.
this right now.
Well,
how
that's
I,
okay. That's only if you want the newest shit. If you wanted like a 2060 or something, you can
No,
find that.
even then, no.
Really?
It's fucked.
It's hard to find.
Your
Yeah.
graphics
Well, then
card
you're-
is like
you're fucked.
$800. Yeah. The thing is, how I would describe this is money. It's just a muddy
It
time.
comes down to money.
No, not money. Muddy.
Also comes down to
It's-
money.
It also comes down to money.
Well,
But
I think games should be as widely available to as much people as possible.
And that's where I choose PC because
now it's not even a console war; it's a software war.
I would say that's more
What do you
accurate.
mean
It's
by that?
Software where they're trying to push their console.
because
And the games, if the games are on
I think-
everything, why
I think the console war thrived off of exclusives
Yeah.
and
yeah.
fan bases fighting each other. I would say the hardware war is
Yeah,
gaming.
yeah.
Bum bum bum.
So
Now,
what
I
do you
mean,
guys mean though? Like, what do you mean?
Well, now it's no longer a question of exclusives and what company has what
It's
over the
hardware.
other. It's what shit
Yeah.
runs better and
Yeah.
what shit works better. I think it's come down to that because the games aren't the center focus anymore.
But the fact that like all the games that are coming out on the Xbox are coming out on the PC,
Exactly.
why would you get an Xbox?
Exactly.
Unless
yeah,
it's
that's what I'm saying. I'm never going to get an Xbox.
Although you might save a lot of money because to build the same PC would probably be like $1,500.
But longevity on a PC versus an Xbox with no exclusives.
Yeah, and you can do so much.
I'm just saying.
It's,
you can edit movies.
Which and also probably buying games on the Xbox down the line is going to be more expensive than it would be on the PC.
Like I think this was my last thing in saying. It's like
It's
as a
also-
kid, it's so much easier to get into consoles.
Absolutely,
It's
it is.
even though
Yeah,
yes they have
yeah.
YouTube and everything
That's
now.
why I'm saying. Like
but-
up until recently,
Yeah.
I would absolutely pick console.
Yeah,
It's because that's way more appealing to a younger person.
yeah, it's
with
easier. It's
more
just
time
a
on your
it's
hands,
a plug and play.
less
You
shit to
know,
worry about. Exactly.
So-
Plug and play.
yeah.
Accessibility.
And also, piracy is easier on PC.
Arg.
I'm just kidding. I would
Sea
never
of Thieves
pirate
is
it.
definitely easier.
True.
I would never pirate anything.
You just
Wait,
talked
did
about the modded Wii.
Did you hear about Sea of Thieves?
What the Jack Sparrow's gonna be?
See
in it?
these nuts.
The console war's over. There you go. That's it. Ends with the good old
you.
these nuts.
I will fight you right now. That'll be the end of every single podcast right
As
now.
you wrestling
Yeah.
on the floor.
All right, I think we got it. Is there?
The console war ends with David and Sean wrestling on the ground.
Are we? I think we're good, guys.
I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're
Watch
done.
it all burn.
All right. Well,
Xbox bad, PlayStation good, PC superior. That's the end of the day.
Yeah.
Nintendo
Yeah.
on the side.
yeah.
Yeah, but Switch
Like a
is
nice
great.
little
Love
side
my
of curly
Switch.
fries. No one dislikes curly fries. Look at a Nintendo Switch.
I'm done.
All right.
Get us out of here.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that.
Yep.
I'm Sean,
Kyle.
And David.
Jester
and
David.
we're the guys with beards. You know, check out our Twitches. Everything is in the
Yes.
comments.
We're back, baby.
Check out our website. You know, go on our
Trains
Spotify.
Music Studio and J&D
And
Audio.
also, if you don't
Please.
think the console wars are over, give me a reason as to why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
yeah.
Who do you think won? Do you think PC's the way to go? But check our shit out. We'd love to have you there.
further explain that though, J&D Auto is a local company.
Yes.
And
Ferndale.
Trains Music Studio is also
And
a
the
local
local company.
And
Um,
J&D Audio obviously
Yeah, that last
deals
name
with
sounds
cars.
familiar. Trains Music
Weirdos probably
yeah,
run it
I don't
though.
know.
But yeah, Barbara, huge shout out for making they help make this setup possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So huge shout out to J&D and Trains Music Studio. You guys are the fucking best. And without this, we wouldn't be able to decide who the winner was. So which is obviously PlayStation. I'm just
Okay.
yeah.
Anyways.
Big brain. Big brain moment.
All right, That's it.
Get to wrestling.
All right.
Start wrestling.
Come on. Bye.
Start wrestling.
No, wait. Subscribe.
Subscribe.
We're going to make out. What?